For those who have successfully lost a significant amount of weight, what methods or strategies did you use? Write in the comments what you think about it. What methods can be used to lose a significant amount of weight? Enjoy the show. Story 1, I took a rather aggressive approach, which is unhealthy on top of that. So, take this with a grain of salt. I started with significantly limiting the amount of food I consumed. Previously, I'd eat whatever, whenever, but when I started, I only ate a sandwich. Black bread, cucumber, tomato, butter, Gouda, black forest ham, salt, pepper, and a splash of mustard. And I'd eat half of that after getting out of bed and the other half an hour before going to bed, roughly. I'd as well always drink a cup of coffee with milk and sugar at work, as well as a can of some kind of soda while smoking my work cigarette. As is said, none of this is healthy, LOL. Apart from that, I drank lots of water with a tiny splash of apple juice, like 1/10 apple juice. I hate the stale taste of water. Did that for about a month, then stopped eating completely for 7 days. Still drank my can of soda and my 2 coffees. These and the negligible amount of sugar from the 1/10 of apple juice were the only calories I was getting. After 7 days of not eating anything, I'd put in 2 cheat days. Burgers, ice, whatever I wanted and as much as I wanted. I noticed that I was full so quickly as my body had already gotten used to me not eating anything. 286 to 154 pounds in about half a year. I should add that I work a very labor-intensive job as well and go work out every 2 days even when fasting. I'm gonna lose a few more pounds and then start bulking. Story 2. I stopped eating breakfast and lunch. I eat whatever I want for dinner. Cut out all alcohol and snacks. Intermittent fasting works for me. Just black coffee and unsweet tea during the day. The weight came off dramatically at first, then slowed to 2 to 3 pounds a week. I only intake calories between 5:30 and 8:30 every single day, except that one time I had an iced coffee with cream at 10:30 a.m. Story 3. Be truthful and respectful to yourself. There are a lot of hard facts to come to grips with when making a game plan to lose weight, especially if the main culprit is diet. No one wants to admit they actually eat too much. Find a graceful way to condition yourself to begin tracking calories, sugar, sodium, etc. I've seen a lot of people beat themselves up to the point their diet turns to depression. Don't do that. Look at the data, act on the data, but be kind to yourself. That's my advice. Drink water and move. Story 4. I've lost probably 20-some pounds in the last 4 months. I want a lasting change, so it's been slow going. I started to change little things in my diet, swapped cooking oil for the no-calorie spray, paid attention to serving sizes on everything but veggies, fruit as a nightly snack instead of chocolate every day. I added vegetables to every single meal, and it's always more than I think I'll eat. I started doing salsa, which kept me moving for 5-6 hours or more a week. I recently picked up cycling and am training for a race next month. I still allow myself to eat the things I used to eat. I can't give up chocolate or Thai food, but it's once a week or less. I can live with that. Besides chaotic cycle eating when I started riding for 80-100 miles, it's not hard to stay close to on track for my eating anymore. Story 5. Tried 1,000 calories a day, didn't work at all. Plus, I also hated counting calories. What did work was eating normally every other day, not eating at all in between the eating days. Lost 10 pounds a month for 3 months. Once I was at my goal weight, I started eating every day again. I kept the fat off by eating healthier and working out more. 6 months later, I'm around the same weight with noticeable muscle gain. If I had to lose fat quick, I would definitely do it again. You could literally see a change every single day. Story 6. Went from about 280 to 198.8. I started counting calories on a phone app. I have never been hungry in the mornings, so I fast from about 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. Counting calories really showed me where I was going wrong. Some junk foods are high in calories and not very filling. I choose food now that satisfies and is low in calories. No/very little exercise. I target 1,500 calories a day but usually go over a little. Story 7. Avoid fat, added sugars, grease and oil. Walk a lot. Like a lot. Like get a step tracker and walk 16,000 steps per day. Eating less will help, but simply eating healthy makes a huge difference. I've lost 20 pounds in the last 8 weeks from 260 to 240 on my way to 210, and I feel so much healthier. Just got back from a 4-day music festival and I could easily have gone another day, whereas before I was wrecked at the beginning of day 3 and skipping acts I wanted to see because I didn't want to walk across the entire venue. Also, drink as much water as you can. It will slow your weight loss at first, as you will have a lot of water weight, but it balances over time and makes you feel way less hungry. Story 8. low carb to lose weight and make moving less of a pain. Became more active in general, less screen time and more do time. So much water. And then just started habit forming to get routine. Still on it, still have to force myself to lift, but it's currently not about the lifting itself, but the establishment of the habit. After chores, before shower, half an hour, as soon as that has become a literal no-brain autopilot habit, I'll expand on that. But slowly getting there. Story 9. Losing weight is easy if you're willing to do enough. Are you able to let go of 2 hours a day every day? If so, you can lose 10 pounds a month, every month, until you stop. After a while, you'll be eating 2x to 3x your current intake and still losing weight. The problem I see is almost no one is willing to invest the time and work. I'm not taking about, I walk every day for 30 minutes. That's literally nothing. I'm taking about getting the heat rate up and keeping it there. Strenuous exercise. You should be pushing limits of breath, blood, or muscle as much as possible. One of those three will be the limiting factor for each kind of exercise you do. Running, lifting weights doesn't matter. There are mechanical limits of your body that you will reach. Early on, these limits are incredibly low. Don't overstress. Pain is not gain. But you do want to make effort to use your invested time efficiently. You want to stress the body to push the body to adapt and rebuild better. It's a reactive system. It reacts only to the stresses you put in. You can move through a wide range of exercises to allow various muscles to recover, and you can work the whole body over the invested time frame. Over the course of 2 hours, what % of time were you at the point of muscle fatigue, out of breath, or reaching heart rate targets? How much time were you not? Are you wasting an hour and only doing 10 minutes of real strenuous work? Or were you never stressing anything at all for the entire time? How hard are you willing to work? The body is reactive. Metabolism is reactive. It's all a byproduct of what you do or don't do. Weight loss is a byproduct. It shouldn't even be a goal. It literally just happens all by itself as long as you exercise well. Story 10. I did Weight Watchers during COVID. The gist was eating more fruit, veg, lean protein, and dairy. Eat less processed food, fatty carbs, sweets, and alcohol. Also move more. Back then, it was so much easier because I was working from home, not traveling, not socializing, not going anywhere. And my kids were young enough that I wasn't trying to cook for a whole family's preferences. It got hard when the world opened back up, and I couldn't control everything, and I gained it all back. Whatever you do, make sure you can do during your actual life and not in a void. Story 1165 pounds in 6 months, 8/16 if. Counting calories, 5/7 days of 1 hour cardio, essentially calorie deficit. No processed sugar and no simple carbs. I call it close to keto. The key was engaging your metabolism the most efficient way so your body is consuming fat for energy. It takes about a month, but once it going, you have endless energy. No more ups and downs with food being the driving force. Just needed to reset my relationship with food. Over the last 2 months, I've stopped counting calories and worked out less. I've also been eating ice cream. I feel the difference and I've gained 5 pounds. It's a good slip up because these are the ups and downs in life that I need to control and be responsible for. Be okay with failure, but don't give up on yourself. Know that hard work pays off. Story 12. Weight loss management therapy through a weight loss clinic includes weekly consult, diet plan, metabolic analysis, and medication for appetite suppression. The idea being cut out liquid calories, eat mostly lean meat, lots of veggies, grain, and protein, and reduce portion sizes. Also gym at least 4 days a week. I've lost 65 pounds. Since December of 2023, I weigh less than I did in high school and I'm 40 next month. You can do it, but the want has to come from you. You have to want to make the changes and become more healthy. It's not enough to just want to lose the weight. The way you live has to change. Story 13. Establish a rhythm. Go to the gym X days per week, consistently, without making excuses for a month. Then do it for 3 months. Then ritualize it. Calories in, calories out. Find the right amount of calories for your lifestyle. Weigh yourself every day for 2 weeks and get a baseline. Try cutting a few calories out and see how you hold up for 2 weeks. If weight goes down, congrats, you are running at a deficit. Now try and replace unhealthy calories with healthier calories. Add in a cheat day once a week with a small calorie allowance. Oh, you gained weight? You are running a calorie surplus. Increase activity, decrease ingestion by a few hundred calories, and measure again in 2 weeks. Rinse and repeat until you start seeing loss. 3. Ensure you are doing 45 minutes of cardio at least 3x per week without stopping. This includes walking at a moderate pace. Add an extra day if this is easy. Add in variance if that doesn't help. Instead of just treadmill, add in rotations with the Stairmaster and the seated rowing machine and alternate. 4. Allow your body to have 12 hours without food a day. That means you can eat from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., for example, but don't eat anything at all after that. For better results, do 16 hours without food between last meal and first meal. Most importantly of all, recognize you will fail repeatedly at these 4 tasks. The single most important attribute for fitness is persistence. Keep going. Diligence gets you there faster. Corner cutting will still improve your health gradually. Story 14, lots of walking. I was lucky enough to have about 8 months of no work coasting on savings. Worked out twice a week and 3 times a week I did 10, 20 miles. So about 40, 60 miles a week walked. 5'7" and went from 85 kilograms of pure fat to 67 kilograms of slimness with some muscle. Only thing with walking is it's time consuming, but I've walked more in the past 2 years than I have in my entire life. Easily at least 1,500 miles. It's a gradual process, but it works. Caffeine and nicotine kept food cravings away, but most of my gained weight was from heavy drinking. 2 years sober. It's shocking how much junk I can eat and not get fat when I don't have alcohol and exercise a bunch. Obviously not the healthiest, but much better. Story 15. I'm currently losing about 3 pounds per month. I eliminated all alcohol and drink plenty of water. I do intermittent fasting, but for me all this means is I drink black coffee in the morning and then have my first meal around 1 p.m., mainly protein of some kind. I have dinner at night, usually meat and vegetables of some kind. No snacking between mealtimes. I've lost 30 pounds so far. For me, this is easy to sustain. Story 16. What do we consider significant? 6E2 have gone from 270 to 220. It's both easy and hard at the same time. The easy part is knowing what you need to do. The hard part is doing it. I started exercising routinely. I walk/jog in the mornings and ride a mountain bike several times a week. That is the bulk of my exercise. I do bodyweight stuff at the house randomly throughout the day. I do not go to the gym. I started eating more healthy. I am not on a strict diet, so my weight does fluctuate. Somewhat meditation influenced in the since I am eating a lot of salads and fresh fruits and vegetables. We'll eat oats and or eggs for breakfast, usually a salad for lunch, and for dinner I typically grill, bake a meat or fish, chicken breast, pork chop, salmon, etc., and eat it with fresh veggies and a sweet potato. Being Cajun and a huge food lover, I still cook typical Cajun or Italian food frequently, which derails me for an entire week. The biggest thing has been limiting intake of sugar and sugary drinks. Was hooked on Coke. Still drink 1 or 2 a week, but that's all I allow myself. Drink mostly water, sparkling water with lemon, and unsweat tea with lemon. My biggest piece of advice, do not try and get sucked into some weird diet or overbearing exercise regime. It will not be sustainable. Eat better, exercise more, and stick to a diet and workout program you feel you can do every day for the rest of your life. If you can't imagine 80-year-old you doing it, it isn't sustainable. Be patient. Take your time. Start living a healthy lifestyle and you will eventually be healthy. Story 17. I started by walking to the end of the street and back, then a little further every couple of weeks until I was eventually walking 3 miles a day during the winter months. This is in AZ. In the summer, I would ride the exercise bike for half an hour instead. Started eating better. Cut out the soda, candy, cookies, etc., and ate more vegetables and fruit. Cut down heavily on bread and carbs. Drank water as much as possible. Even with all of this, the biggest thing that helped me was that I wasn't paying attention to the weight I was losing. I didn't even notice anything was happening until one day I was putting on my jeans and noticed how loose they had gotten. That was a great day. Story 18. I used to be a physical trainer, so while I can't say I've lost a significant amount of weight, I can certainly offer advice. A lot of it is just developing good habits. Start walking or stretching for a half hour a day, every day, to build up the habit. To get ideal results, you should increase your physical activity occasionally until you reach about 10 hours a week, 2 hours a day with 2 break cheat days or around 1 hour 20 minutes every day. Physical activity doesn't have to mean going to the gym or walking around in the sweltering heat either. Go swimming, play laser tag, frisbee golf, or even just regular golf if you don't use a cart. I know a few people that play Quidditch, quad ball, and it did wonders for them. Point being that there are tons of ways to exercise without exercising. Dieting isn't about starving yourself or denying yourself the good, fun things to eat. It's about understanding what you need versus what you want, and learning when to know it's okay to indulge in what you want versus when not to. Yes, your consumption habits will need to change. You'll need to stop drinking soda and energy drinks and replace them with water and tea. You'll need to learn how to cook and prep meals. It isn't easy, but it's doable, and it's shit worth doing. A big thing is to recognize the differences between being hungry, being thirsty, and being bored. I've known a number of people that will just eat because they feel it's something to do, or they feel compelled to eat but don't know why. Wait at least 4 hours after eating, and if you feel hungry again, first find something to occupy your time and drink at least 2 cups of water. Most of the time, those feelings go away. Story 19, went from 250 to 170-ish. Got a cheap elliptical on Amazon and put it in my room in front of the TV. Worked a ton, then came home and jumped on the elliptical. Started with a mile, then 2, eventually 5, then 5 turned into 10. It's so easy to incorporate exercise into your daily routine without thinking about it. I'd drink while exercising and watch whatever show I was into, so I didn't even think about what my body was doing while I was drinking and watching my show. I was also doing Atkins keto, which is stupid easy these days. There are low-carb tortillas you can put anything into, low-carb frozen meals. Snacks are meat, cheese, and whatever you want Googled with low-carb. You just gotta commit to doing it and make some effort and it'll happen. Story 20. I cut out all added sugars as much as possible. The headaches for the first month were the worst, but then it became easier. Within a few months, my taste buds had changed and I could no longer enjoy foods that used to be staples. There was so much added sugar they just tasted horrible. I started walking every day, no matter what. When I began, 5-10 minutes was all I could manage. I enjoy hiking regularly now. This one is harder, but don't eat out. Or at least don't eat in your car. Nothing that is manageable to eat in your car has any nutritional value for you. I'm down 140 pounds since 2021. No medications or surgeries for weight loss, just lifestyle changes. I have lost half of what I planned to, but I understand my body a lot better than I used to. And now I am content with feeling better and getting stronger. The rest will follow. Story 21. I did it simply by using MyFitnessPal to rigorously track calories. I also completely cut out soda and fast food. Maybe it doesn't work this way for everyone, but I think soda and fast food are things we're basically addicted to. And if you're able to quit that addiction for long enough, you completely lose the attraction to those items. I used to buy a 12-pack of Coke every time I went to the grocery store and drink at least one of them a day. I started dieting almost 15 years ago, and I still cannot drink a whole soda in one sitting anymore. It's just so much sugar. People from other countries comment on how sugary American soda is, and if you remove it from your diet for long enough, you will really see what they mean. I was not very informed on healthy eating back then, so cutting calories mostly meant I was hungry all the time. I would strongly recommend that people eat a lot of high-fiber vegetables, for example broccoli, and full-fat foods, for example yogurt and cottage cheese. These are things that keep you full for longer, so you can cut back on calories without feeling like ass. Story 22. I'd not recommend it, but 20 years ago I used a version of the Atkins diet with significant caloric restriction, while also weightlifting very hard. I was probably burning 4,000 plus calories a day. I dropped from approximately 250 to 192 pounds in about 4 months. It was very unhealthy. The weight loss was some combination of muscle, fat, and fluids, and while I felt pretty good throughout, it was dangerous. I ended up consulting with a dietitian and physician afterwards. I had significant body image issues at the time and regulate my weight with more moderate strategies now. If I want to lose weight, I maintain a more balanced diet and restrict calories a bit, and maintain or slightly increase my activity level. My weight hasn't fluctuated much over 2 decades, unless I want it to, in which case I am kinder to myself. Story 23. It's so cliche, but just calorie counting. I eat a very small lunch, less than 400 calories, and then I, within reason, eat what I want for dinner. As long as I'm under 2,000 calories and I work out multiple times a week, I lose weight and it feels super sustainable for me. During the pandemic, I peaked at 220. Now I'm at 180, and I never made drastic lifestyle changes. Oh, also, I always keep lots of frozen fruit in the freezer. When I feel snacky, I eat a big bowl of fruit instead of chips dessert. Cutting down on the beer helps a lot too. Cutting back on alcohol in general is a big calorie saver, but even just switching 75% of the time you'd normally drink a beer to something like a vodka tonic saves an insane amount of calories over the months of you drink regularly. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.